What's up, amigos? My name's Gabriel Paredes. Welcome back to my channel. Now, today, I want to start by asking you a couple questions. So number one, do you think it'd be a good idea for you to know who your enemy is when you're fighting a war? And number two, do you think it would be a good idea for you to know what weapons are being used against you in this war that you're in? Now, if you said yes, my friends, I completely agree with you. Now, when it comes to money, when it comes to people's financial stability, people know who their enemy is or kind of know who their enemy is, but they definitely do not understand what weapons are being used against them. And if they do, they just kind of surrender to the fact that it's kind of what it is. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's things that you could do about it. And if you do, just a couple of the things, even if there's one thing that you learn in this video, I promise you that you're going to put yourself and your household, your family in a better financial situation. Okay, so let's get right into it. Now, there's 4 enemies to your money. Now, many of us have heard these enemies, so here they are. Okay, so number 1 is taxation, taxes. Everybody hates taxes. Number 2 is inflation. Number 3 is procrastination. And number 4 is debt. So now let's get into these things and understand how and what we could do to help us win this war. Okay, so let's start with number 1, taxation. People say that the only 2 guarantees in life is death and taxes. And they kind of surrender to the fact that they're just getting beat the hell up by taxes. You're paying state tax, sales tax, federal tax, income tax, taxes all over the place, right? And we just kind of say, well, there's really nothing we could do. Now, do you think that wealthy people sit there and say there's really nothing we could do? Or do you think that they're actually doing something about it? Well, they're doing something about it. And here is my advice to you. There's different ways for you to pay less taxes, morally, legally, and ethically. Now, I'm here to tell you that there's different ways for you to save money on taxes, where instead of you sending this money to Uncle Sam, you keep more of this money. So here we go. Almost everybody right now has a side hustle. Life has just gotten really expensive, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. And everybody started a side hustle, but we haven't gotten incorporated. We don't have an S Corp, an LLC, a C Corp, because many people don't understand where do we even get this or how does it work? Moving parts do I need to understand? So they stay away from opening these types of vehicles in order for them to get some assistance on being able to write things off. So they think that because they don't have a C Corp or an S Corp or an LLC, they can't really do anything about taxes. And I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. You got to go talk to your tax professional, my friends, and ask them, how could I write things off on my taxes? And tell them, I have a side hustle. This side hustle has, here we go, take a note down, an expectation of profit. And this side hustle, I'm running it out of an office, I'm running it out of my car, I'm running it out of my house, wherever you're running it from, right? You're buying things for this side hustle. So for example, this YouTube channel, right? I have the microphone, I have a camera, I have lights, I have this background thing, right? All of these things were purchased for me to start this YouTube channel, and this YouTube channel has an expectation of profit. Well, there's ways to write off a lot of these things. Let's just say, for example, you could save an extra $200, $300, $400, $500 a month in taxes on average. How would that benefit you? Think about that. Okay, so now we've talked about taxes. Now let's go to the next one, inflation. Inflation right now is out of control. The government says that right now inflation is, I believe, at 6.7%. In a healthy economy, it's 2 to 3%. Right now, it's 6.7%, more than double. And even though they say 6.7%, we all know that's BS. Eggs, gas, cars, used cars went up 40%. My goodness, that's craziness, right? There's another element to that, which is supply and demand, and that's a whole different video, my friends. But nevertheless, inflation has gotten out of control, and it's just beating the hell out of people because their money is worth less and they think they can't do anything about it. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is things that you could do about it. What are those things? Well, this money that comes into your household, you're putting it somewhere, right? And most people go out there and they put it in a bank, B of A, Wells Fargo, Chase, whatever the bank is that you bank with, right? You put it in the bank in your checking account, and the bank is going to pay you 0.4%, but then they're also going to charge you fees. And the interesting is that if you kind of weigh everything out, yeah, they're paying you 0.4%, not even 1% on the money that you're putting into the bank. The annual fees alone sometimes wipe out whatever little gains you had with the 0.4% that they're paying you. But what do wealthy people do during these times? Keep in mind, I own a financial services company. We have thousands of clients on the books. So I've seen clients and investors from all walks of life that come from rags to riches, that have become very disciplined investors, that have retired in a very good, healthy way. And it's interesting because they understand that they don't leave things to chance. They actually right now are getting this money that's coming into their household, and they're putting it in here instead of here. So they're putting it in A instead of B. B's paying them 0.4%. A is going to pay them maybe a high yield savings account. Maybe it's a CD. Maybe it's something a little bit more long-term, which is like an index fund or an ETF. Maybe it's an annuity. Maybe it's a fixed index annuity. Maybe it's a variable annuity. Maybe it's your 401k at work. Whatever the case may be, they're putting this money into a vehicle that's going to pay them definitely a whole lot more than 0.4%. That's going to get close to keeping up with inflation during these crazy times. Okay, so that's something that you could do about inflation. Now let's talk about the next one. The next one is procrastination, right? This is one of the number one killers of people's dreams, of people's future, is that they constantly get stuck on aiming. What do I mean by that? We've all heard ready, aim, fire. Most people get stuck on aiming. Why? Because they procrastinate. Why? Because we're convinced that not taking action is safer than actually taking a risk, taking action, and potentially failing. Whether that's starting a side hustle, whether that's starting a business, whether that's starting investing, because everybody's heard, oh, you know what? This person invested and they lost it all. Well, maybe that person invested in a very dumbass investment, took a big chance on this random cryptocurrency that tanked and they lost their investment. I'm not talking about taking those types of risks. I'm talking about putting your money in a place where it's going to help you get close to keeping up with inflation. And when the good times come, when rates start dropping, when the government starts announcing that rates are dropping, you're going to see the stock market start going up. And guess what? Your money is going to start going up also. Okay, so let's get to the last one, which is debt. Now, debt is killing people right now. You know, credit cards have gone up from 11 to 13 to 18 to 20 to 23, even 28%. It's crazy. Now, what happened? Let's think about this debt that people are. Google, do me a favor, Google debt in the United States. What's happening right now? You will trip out on what you find. Right now, we are getting ourselves into more credit card debt, more revolving debt, more unsecured debt than ever before in history. Now, you got to ask yourself, why is that happening? Why would somebody want to get themselves in debt? Well, a lot of times it's the keeping up with the Joneses thing that kills them, right? During the time where the government was stimulating the economy, these stimmy checks were coming in, stimulus checks. Damn, now I have this money that I didn't have before. Now, what do? Most people are consumers. Consumers, what do? They spend. Investors, different mindset. What do? Save and invest. Trillions of dollars went out. Consumers went out there and spent money. They spend money. Not only did they spend the money that was on those checks that were given to them, but they actually put a $3,000 down payment on a random car that they didn't need, that they couldn't afford. All of a sudden, they have this $800 a month payment coming to them. So they were actually buying liabilities. Not only were they spending the money, but they were purchasing liabilities with that money, which is crazy. They want to keep that same lifestyle. Those stimmy checks are not coming in no more. Therefore, now they're getting themselves in debt. So there is something you could do about that too. So there's two things you could do. Number one, stop spending, okay? Stop spending money on things you don't need. Amazon had record-breaking profits. Why? Because they understood you give a bunch of people trillions of dollars into the economy, they're going to go out there and they're going to buy stuff. Where are they going to buy stuff? They're going to buy stuff on Amazon. Why are they going to buy stuff on Amazon? Because the stores were closed during the pandemic. So Amazon became even wealthier and richer than they've ever been before. All right, so stop spending. Number two, takes a little bit more strategy. What do? You go out there and you say, okay, these are my 6 credit cards. This one's 18%, this one's 28%, and everything in the middle. Now, let's take an average. The average amount of interest that I'm paying on a monthly basis that's going out to these credit cards, I'm paying an average of 24%. 24% is a lot. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all of these credit cards. Number one, I'm going to stop the bleeding, not spend anymore. I'm going to consolidate them. I'm going to put them all into one. Let's just say, for example, all of them total to be $18,000 in credit card debt. Then I'm going to go online or to my bank and I'm going to find a place where I could consolidate, meaning getting all of this, putting it into one payment. And maybe that payment's not going to be 5%, but maybe it's going to be 11%, 12%, 15% interest that I'm going to be paying. So now I went from an average of 24 to an average of 15. Now all of a sudden I saved this money. I went from $1,300 a month that I was paying to these credit cards to maybe $1,000 a month or $900 a month. So now you saved, let's just say $300 by paying less to these credit cards. And you also saved money on your taxes because you were paying less taxes because you talked to your tax professional. Your tax professional is now helping you write things off. That means less money is going to Uncle Sam, more money is going to your household. So now you're saving, let's just say $300 on taxes. You're getting $300 from the consolidation of your debt by putting it all into one. Now you have $600. Now what do? Well, you have options. Number one, you could spend it. Number two, you could save it. Number three, you could invest it. The choice is yours. I would highly recommend that you go out there and you save and invest it, because in today's time, during a recession, when the good times come, my friends, that's when the rich get richer, the poor get poor, and it's all based on the habits and them understanding the different weapons being used against them and how to fight back, how to stop the bleeding, and how to put themselves in a better situation. All right, with all of that said, I appreciate you being here. I hope you got some value out of this video today. And if you did, give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. I'm really trying to grow my channel, and consider subscribing, my friends, okay? Tell your friends, tell your tios and tias, tell somebody about my channel, and I appreciate your support. Cheers.